Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I have several little topics that I want to discuss right now. I'm gonna start by saying that one of the skull spells has already worked. So, yes, Eclipse does give spells a little bit more power. However, you still need all the three factors to join together. So, I'm gonna actually describe this client situation a bit. I think I've mentioned this client recently. Yes, I have, because you're gonna recognize just from the story. So basically, I did, I did an X-back spell for this client way back, and this client got results, movement, not full results, but got movement right away. And before that, it seemed like an impossible situation, so this client was very amazed and happy and all of that. But then it didn't go fully, and this client just kind of went back into victim mentality. So this client had, ups and downs with their vibration, which is pretty normal and pretty common, especially in the beginning when you are learning the vibrational stuff. And then later, this client's ex actually got into another relationship, and this client was like desperate. It's over now. They're with somebody else. It's the end. And then we had a little talk, and I said that it doesn't have to be over at all. And this client started doing vibrational work again. And then, actually, this client's ex broke up with the new person, and they started talking again. And, they reached out to the client and all of that. And suddenly, movement, right? But the ex did not want to commit right now. So the ex was like, maybe sometime in the future, but definitely not now. So the client bought the skull spell. And my main intention for this client was for the ex to change their mind and to want to commit right now. And this has happened. Now, spells, they start giving pushes right away, so they start working right away when I cast them. When I start casting them, they start working. However, whether they're gonna work and how soon they're gonna work is gonna depend on three factors. Remember those three factors, guys? So the situation, how hard is the situation, your target, how stubborn is your target, and then your own vibration. Those are the three factors that will determine your spell work, whether it's going to be successful or not, or how soon it's going to work. So this is what I really want to emphasize. So yes, the eclipse definitely did help, but there were other factors that aligned, and that's very important to remember. Now, today, one of you has asked me if I think their situation was hard. And this is something that you guys ask me a lot. So let me just start by saying this. Every single situation that I get is hard. Every single one. Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't need me. You wouldn't turn to magic, right? You wouldn't absolutely do it if the situation was not hard. So by default, your situation is hard, yes, absolutely hard. But there are less hard and harder situations, and this can be a bit difficult to determine. But in my experience, for the most part, the hardest one will be those where there hasn't been any contact for a long time, where you are blocked for a longer period of time, where there's a third person, and where there's a lot of resentment and something really ugly happened and all those stuff. But as you can see, it doesn't have to be impossible or like super hard, even if you have those things that I just said. And also, on the other hand, you can be in contact with your person, not be blocked. There's no third person. But if you're in victim mentality, if you're like very, very anxious and you just don't do any vibrational work, you can't get out of that victim mentality, that neediness, the desperation, that will make your situation super hard. Even by default, I wouldn't say it's super hard. but you can make it super hard with your vibration. So, it's kind of difficult to put down a definition of a very hard situation because it depends. So, okay. Now, I wanted to share two psychological facts that will maybe make this whole process easier on you. So, the first fact is your brain lies to you constantly. Yeah, your brain lies to you all the time. And we talk about this quite a lot. And this is a fact, it's a psychological fact, sorry. So, you guys, you are not a passive observers, you are narrators. So your brain invents, not invests. Your brain invents or makes up stories that feel true. And when your brain is telling you a story, it will feel very true. Like, yes, this is a fact. But more often than not, this will actually not be a fact. It will be a total lie, and it will be built on cognitive biases, on emotional residue, and on your past wounds. Okay? So, for example, let's take an example. If your person is not responding for like an hour or two, and your brain starts telling you they're cheating on you, they're cheating on you. This is probably a lie, and it's based on some of your past experiences. So, knowing this lets you question your reactions instead of obeying them. So, you're gonna react in an unhealthy way. Most likely, you're gonna be reactive, you're gonna be triggered, and you're gonna react from that wound. And think about before you react, and think about if this is actually true, or if your brain is just has just made up a story based on your past experiences. Also, for those of you who don't know, yesterday I posted a little exercise for the eclipse season, and there is a part with a magic mirror which actually speaks about this whole situation, how to determine whether something is actually true or if your brain is just lying to you. So, very important. Okay, let's move on to the second fact. Second fact, what you avoid controls you. Yes, you think you're avoiding it, and that's great, but actually, nope. So, avoidance feels like relief, right? But this is just short term. Every time you avoid discomfort, you are actually strengthening fear, shame, procrastination, or resentment. Yeah, guys. It may seem really cool, but this is what you're actually doing. Think about it. So, healing, growth, and success all require a learning to lean into discomfort on purpose, not to avoid it. And same goes for those of you who are avoiding vibrational work, who are avoiding changing yourself on the inside and just expect for the spells to deliver your exes. Yeah, you're avoiding some things about you, some things inside of you. And this is why your spells are not working. So start doing the work because the work works. Anyways, guys, I hope this was helpful to at least one of you. I love you. Bye.